Welcome back, and we have James with us today from AG Grid, AG Charts, and you had a very interesting talk about MCP servers. We had a lot of questions from our audience, but we've narrowed down to a few impactful ones, and we're going to get started. Are you ready to go?
Sounds good, yeah.
Cool. So, what are your thoughts on things like a Claude rule markdown file versus just using an MCP? Obviously, people have some concerns about token size, windows, and stuff like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think they work very well together with each other. So Claude raw MD file can be really good to help an LLM currently or understand what your application currently looks like, where an MCP is really useful for kind of taking it to the next step and adding new features and making that application more advanced. So I think they work really well together. Start with a raw file so it understands your code base very well, and use MCPs to continue to add to that.
Cool. So what you're saying is that you can basically just use both to get better results.
Exactly.
Awesome. Yeah, so there's a lot of synergy between LLM tools and human interaction. Have you found AG Surge to be useful for humans as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. So one of the points I didn't quite have the time to make in my talk was that we would really kind of like advise people building for MCPs and AI to really start with something that makes sense in and of itself independently first, right? So AI and MCP is a constantly changing and evolving thing. And so the more we can kind of abstract stuff away from that, it means the less maintenance we need to do moving forward. So by starting with something like AG Search, which is really useful for human-based search too, and then just adding that AI layer on top, we get all of those benefits in one thing. So we're kind of getting double bang for our buck, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good general approach going forward for a lot of this AI stuff that people are trying to integrate. First, make it useful in general, and then the AI can kind of pick up on that. Amazing. MCPs, we know, are also a potential attack vector. How do you think people should think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. I think it kind of depends on the MCP that you're using. So in our case specifically, we do have access to the entire project scope. So our MCP could theoretically go and make changes that would be a breach of security, so to speak. But our MCP server is open source, so you can take a look at what it does, and if you don't like any of that, you can avoid using it. But it definitely is more of a concern for other MCPs that maybe do more detailed stuff. So some of them have root access to your PC, they manage authentication to external servers. In cases like that, security is much more important. Right. Our implementation's a lot lighter and a lot less intrusive.
Right. Well, I'm a big fan of AI tools. I use Claude all the time. I don't know if I'll ever give it root access to my computer.
Yeah.
I know some people do.
Of course.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you for all that. I'm going to ask you two final questions I ask everyone. The first one is, what is your favorite React API of all times? It could be anything.
Yeah. I'm going to have to kind of give you a non-answer for this. So
okay.
I'm not a React developer through and through, so it'd be disingenuous for me to give a favorite React API. But what I really like is coming from an Android background and jumping into web development. React was the first thing I started with, and it was so easy to just start building with it. I think that's what I love the most about it.
Cool.
And maybe to be a bit more specific, I know some of my colleagues are going to be super interested about some of the profiling tools that have come out, and that's really going to help us continue to improve AG Grid as well. So.
Amazing, amazing. You know what? The fact that React is so easy to pick up and so straightforward is actually one of its biggest features.
Definitely.
So
that's
great. And the last one, I already asked you this before, so I hope you have an answer ready.
I do.
What is one thing about you that doesn't come up in normal conversation that is interesting for us to learn about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm terrible at icebreakers, so I probably put more thought into this than I did my talk.
Okay.
Trying to come up with an answer. So I'm going to go with the fact that my birthday is on July 4th, American Independence Day.
Yeah.
So if I'm ever in the States on my birthday, I like to pretend all the celebrations are just for me.
Well, that's fun and interesting. And happy birthday in a couple of months. My math is wrong. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us. And all the MCP stuff that you talked about was super, super interesting. So thank you again.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.